Hi guys, today I'm going to talk about different forms of therapy that we can do at home. So we don't always have the means to go see a registered therapist, and it's important for us to have tools that we can practice at home for our own mental health and well-being, our emotional health and well-being, and just to practice self-care. So just to put it out there, I'm not a licensed therapist, and I do really recommend that we all get the chance to work with an actual licensed therapist because it can be really helpful to just help let things out and really process them and work through them, though it's either sometimes not the best fit for everyone, or maybe financially things aren't working out to go see one. And so these are some things that have really helped me along the years to kind of give myself different forms of therapy. So my number one thing is journaling. And what I do for journaling is first I just do free writing. And sometimes this is as simple as I've got these like scrap pieces of paper that it's not even necessarily an actual journal, but you can just take scrap pieces of paper and just start free writing. And sometimes if you're feeling upset, it's really nice to just let out everything. Like even what you would say, I remember I started doing this in high school, and in high school like we've got different hormones coming out and different frustrations and stuff, and it was really helpful for me just to I was like swearing at the people at school that I wanted to swear at, and I was just like doing it with my pen and paper and just like letting out all this anger so that then I could then go to school and like feel okay around these people, because you know what, I let out all of my anger and I did it in a way that didn't actually hurt them in any way. And it was just to let out my feelings. So a lot of times when we have feelings inside, we don't want to feel pain. So a lot of people will distract themselves or numb themselves or just do things to kind of get dopamine, whether it's being on your phone or taking substances or whatever people might do to kind of try to mask their feelings and feel better. But when we actually let ourselves go into those feelings and feel them and process them and let them out in a way that's healthy and not hurting anyone, this can be really helpful. And so what I do with these pieces of paper is I'll let out all of my frustrations and all my feelings, or if I'm just feeling sad, it's just writing like, I feel sad, and then explaining why. And I kind of, I'll have this inner dialogue, and it's almost as though I could imagine what would a therapist ask, like, why do you feel sad? And then writing out why you feel sad, and then kind of getting to the root of things to be like, well, how does this make you feel? And then writing it all out. And so those are kind of like prompts sometimes, would be having that inner dialogue of like really being curious about my feelings. So having that curiosity of why I'm feeling certain things. Oftentimes whatever pain we're feeling can be rooted back to either our childhood or some of our earliest relationships, because a lot of our mental development happens between ages 0 and 8, where we're really forming our understanding of the world, and we're like sponges then. And so any experiences that we're having then can really shape us and come with us into adulthood. And so let's say if you're feeling sad because someone left in your life, and then maybe you're feeling abandoned, and you can ask, when did I ever feel abandoned as a child or in one of my first romantic relationships, and kind of letting yourself go in and just write out everything that you're feeling and how you're processing that. And then also being that voice of compassion and unconditional love for yourself. And that's what I kind of see as the soul, is it's like what's ultimately me, and it doesn't get phased by those feelings. It's always just there to love me and be compassionate towards me. And so that's where I get into some of that. And then this is also like, if you believe in God or source or universe or whatever, the Tao, like whatever you believe, you can also have conversations like that with the pen and paper and just be like asking for guidance. You might believe that you have spirit guides or guardian angels, and so asking for that guidance can really be helpful. But again, if you don't believe in any of that, like I was an atheist for all of high school, and I still got a lot of benefit out of journaling, just letting things out, and then also like just having a relationship with myself, which I think is really important for us. So And I'm going a lot into journaling, but I think that's probably the number one like main thing that has helped me, at least along my journey. And another prompt that you can have, which was really helpful, is, and this maybe is like a separate thing, is Satya. It's one of the pillars of yoga, and it's really the truth and going into the truth, and it has to do with your own inner truth and what's within you. And so that's a form of therapy too, and just communicating out loud the truths that are within you. And so we would do this as a group at the yoga teacher training, and then afterwards I had a friend that her and I would call each other and kind of continue that Satya practice. And one of the prompts for that is just simply asking what's niggling at you. And then you just start speaking. What's niggling at you kind of means like what's bothering you, or what's sort of on your mind, or what's affecting you, or what are you feeling, like what's present for you inside. And so you can just start talking. So whether you do this with a partner, what it is you're really just holding space for each other. And so the one person talks, they let out whatever is niggling at them, whatever they are feeling, whatever's real for them right now, just letting it all out, while the other person does nothing. They just hold space. So they're silent and they're just allowing that person to talk. And so anything that's being said, like they're not trying to solve any problems, they're not trying to give advice, they're not taking anything personally, like they're just literally being there with ears to listen. And then once you're done explaining what's niggling at you, you just say tap, and you kind of, what we would do when we were doing this as a group is we would tap the person to our left, and it just means it's their turn now to start talking and to say what's niggling at them. And so we all have this chance to just express ourselves and express our inner truth and what's real for us, and what's maybe bothering us or just happening within us internally, because we're all going through different things in life. And like, it's crazy that we just live as though we're at this surface level of like, oh, how are you? Fine. How are you? Thanks. Good. Okay. Like, like this is human interaction in modern day society. It's like not actually real or going into what's actually happening internally within us. And so this is a great opportunity to just get real and to let things out, and to hear that other people all have their things too. And it's a great way of just getting to know people better, and also just giving them that space to feel safe expressing themselves, because that's something a lot of us didn't learn how to do as children. We might have, if we felt upset, we might have expressed that in a way that was, then we were either punished or told stop doing that, or we're kind of shut down for having these emotions that are really just natural human emotions that we need to learn how to self-regulate and process ourselves and move through them in a healthy way. So what we would do after going through that prompt of what's niggling at you, then the next question would be, and what do you need most right now? And what do you need most? And this really helps us to internally go into what do we actually need right now. And it might simply be a way of shifting our thoughts around something, or what it's really doing is allowing us to go within to find the answers for ourselves. And what I find really powerful about this is that when we ask for advice from others, we're essentially giving our power to them, and then they might be making decisions for us. And this is something that I almost feel is like a disease in our society of like giving our power away. And it's almost like people get to manipulate each other in the sense of them being like, well, I think you should do this, and then you start taking action and living a life that's not actually authentic to yourself. And when do we actually get the opportunity to check in with ourselves and to ask, what do we really need most? And then to either verbalize that, whether it's asking for something from someone or just saying this is what I need. And it might not even be that it needs to come from someone specific, it might even just need to come from within. And so it's a very empowering practice, I find, to go within and say, what do I need most? And I often actually do this with myself. Sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and just ask myself, like I'll kind of like give myself a hug and I'll say, what do I need most right now? Or what do I need to feel loved right now? And then I take action on doing things. It might be something as simple as doing stretches or doing a bit of exercise or doing whatever it may be. And so it's just an opportunity to tune in, ask yourself what you need, and then verbalize that. And We just verbalize what we need most, and then we say tap, and it's on to the next person. So we get to not only express ourselves and what's going on, but then also to find the best solution for ourselves too. And this is something that you can use as a journaling prompt. If you don't have a partner to go through this exercise with, you can just journal it for yourself, or you can just talk out loud. So you could even like pretend you're on the phone, go for a walk and talk on your headphones. Like, this is also the world we live in, is people walk around just talking with like earbuds in. And so you can just do this and pretend that you're on the phone, but just like start talking just to let out your feelings, and imagine maybe that there is someone that you're talking to, and know that there always is like this universal energy around you that's there to support you and to guide you if you want and need. And even if you just see that as being an energy that's within you, just talk things out and then ask yourself what you need, and that could be really helpful. And another practice that's been very helpful, and I don't use this consistently, but off and on I have, and it's tapping, or EFT, and that goes into some, I don't know if it's trigger points in the body. I don't really, because I don't practice this on a regular basis, I don't know the exact reason for it, but one thing that I've participated in is called the World Tapping Summit, and it happens every February. So depending on when you're watching this, it might be something that you might really enjoy taking part in, and it's totally free, and there's a website for it, the World Tapping Summit, and essentially it's different speakers come in that talk about different topics. It's all online, so you just listen to it and you tune in each day. There's different speakers, and you go through and you do tapping, which is essentially an exercise where you can let out all of your limiting beliefs. Like, let's say you have these thoughts like, I'm not good enough, and so there's like trigger points where you start, and sometimes you'll start and you tap on your wrist and you'll say, even though I'm feeling really down on myself right now, I still unconditionally love and accept myself. And then you go up to the trigger points, and you might say, you could do it with one hand or two, you might say, you kind of say all the honest, like shitty feelings that you have. So it might be like, I feel really stupid. I can't believe I did this thing. Everyone is gonna hate me for doing this. I hate myself for doing this. I can't believe I said that thing. No one's going to accept me anymore. How will I ever get over this? And so it's like really going into all these like honest and raw feelings that you have. And then when you get to a point where you've let out all those like negative, painful feelings and thoughts that you have, it's like you allow space for the positive thoughts to come in. And then you start programming all these trigger points. And I think it's acupressure points is what it is. But so you then start and you say, well, maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought. Maybe I'm perceiving things in a way where I'm being really hard on myself. Maybe I just need a little bit of extra compassion. I could be compassionate with myself. Deep down, I really do love and accept myself. And I know I might have made a mistake, but I can find the space within myself to forgive me. And then, like, as I'm saying this, it's almost like I'm picturing myself being like a little child, where as a child, we make mistakes, but we also need to know that everything is going to be okay and that we're still loved. And it's almost seeing like you're seeing the adult version of yourself, telling yourself, the child version of you, like, it's okay, I still love you, I'm still here for you, and you might have made a mistake, but I still love you, and everything is going to be okay, and other people are going to be okay too. And so whatever topic it might be that you need to go through and do the tapping on, it can really just help to, I find it kind of like helps to calm the nervous system. And because it's acupressure points, it kind of might tie into the meridians and sort of the Chinese medicine understanding. I'm not too sure, but anyways, go check out the World Tapping Summit because you can learn more on that if that's something that interests you, and it's a really powerful form of therapy too. And then another tool that I like is Fascia Release. And so a lot of times whenever we have things happening mentally and emotionally, those emotions, when left unprocessed and unstored, can then get stuck and stored in the body, and they can cause even things like inflammation. It can cause just physical pain, physical issues. And so taking something like either a foam roller or a yoga tune-up ball or even a lacrosse ball and getting into the fascia, which is I don't know if I even fully understand what fascia is right now, but it's essentially, I almost see it as like this spider web that exists all over the body and it connects everything. And so if you aren't doing fascia release or myofascial release, then things can just stay stuck. And even if you stretch out muscles, if you've got like tight fascia, it can be preventing you from having like full health within your body and your muscles and everything like that. And fascia, I think also the reason that I don't fully understand it is that it just hasn't been studied until recently, because a lot of studies on human anatomy were done with cadavers, which is essentially dead bodies. And the fascia doesn't last once you die. Like, it's something that only exists when you're alive. And so when people are studying these dead bodies, the fascia was left completely unstudied. And so it's only very recently that we're starting to learn a little bit more about the fascia and how much of an impact it has on us. But it's something that I feel like when I'm feeling down, I feel essentially very tight in my body. Like, I feel very stiff and just like, it's like hard to move, hard to breathe deeply. And so it's really helpful for me to then lay out the yoga mat, take my foam roller and start rolling out my muscles, and then take my yoga tune-up ball or my lacrosse ball and get deeper in there into different points of the body where there might be knots or just fascia that just needs to be rolled out and released. And there's a great YouTube channel on this, and I'll link it down below. I can't think of her name right now, but I'll leave you guys a link to her YouTube channel down below. And she has a lot of different exercises for fascia release with these balls and things that you can get for pretty affordable. Like, I think a lacrosse ball costs like $4 or $5, and you can just do that at home. And then another thing that's more for self-care and well-being is taking a nice hot bath. So getting into a bath, what I like to do sometimes is listen to positive affirmations while I'm in the bath. I really like Louise Hay's positive affirmations. I also have positive affirmations for you guys, so I'll link some also in this video description, some where I'm going through and reciting positive affirmations for you guys to repeat and to really, it's like just reprogramming your mind and your subconscious with healthy thoughts about yourself and about the world around you and about your life. And yeah, so just listening to healthy things while in the bath and taking that time to yourself to really nurture yourself and to feel nurtured by being enveloped and encompassed by all of this water. So that's kind of how we come into the world. Like babies in the womb, we're surrounded by warm water. And so having a bath, it's almost like being surrounded by Mother Nature in a way of like water is part of Mother Earth, and we're being just held by her and really supported by her. So baths, I find, can be really helpful. And similarly, taking a nature walk, so actually spending time in nature. And there's another practice called forest bathing, where you might just be sitting in the forest and really taking in the sounds and the smells and the feel and the sight of this nature area that you're in. One thing I like to do sometimes too when I'm feeling frustrated is go into nature and I'll like take deep sighs. So really like breathing in and like sighing it all out, breathing it out. And then sometimes I'll even just start talking to the trees. Like, that's my therapy, is just letting out all my feelings, and I'm just talking to the trees. And sometimes I start crying and I'm just letting everything out in nature and just feeling fully held and supported by Mother Nature and letting all of that out. And then feeling, it's almost like feeling like this hug from Mother Earth, that like I'm just surrounded by nature. I've got little animals like chipmunks and birds around me, and it just feels really safe and nurturing and healthy. And then I feel once a lot of these things have been done, you can then get to cleaning, because sometimes when we're feeling down, it can be really hard to pull ourselves up and clean. Though for other people, that might be the first thing that really helps them, is to clean. And so all of these things, like I'm kind of listing out what's helped me, but other things might help you, and maybe in different orders. Like if you're feeling really down, it might just be that you really just need to clean, and that might really help to clear some of your thoughts. So a lot of times when we have mental and emotional clutter, we also have physical clutter. And so cleaning out our space can be really helpful to let go of some of that mental and emotional clutter. So going through and doing a cleaning, maybe listening to some uplifting music and cleaning, One thing I know, when it's really hard to clean and to get yourself to do things, sometimes plant medicines can be helpful, though this is something that I would really encourage that you do in a safe way. I do have videos like connecting with cannabis in a safe way, connecting with magic mushrooms in a safe way. So those are kind of the two that I would typically take in very small quantities, small doses, just to kind of help open things up a little bit. So I find if I'm like really closed off and like going through a dark time, taking either a little bit of cannabis with lots of CBD in there or a little bit of magic mushrooms can really help to open myself up to get back into my body and be like, okay, like I can do this, whether it's then feeling a bit more open and the word libre is coming to me in French, but like free essentially, like there's more this like free space within you to then go into your emotions or to start taking action. So a sativa, which is the more energetic form of cannabis, can be really helpful for getting some cleaning done, doing some exercise, doing all these things that you know are really good for you that maybe when you're feeling really down can feel hard to just get out of bed sometimes and to start taking action on these things. So those can be helpful, though I would say to be very mindful of how you're connecting with any of these and to be safe and yeah, just do it in a way that's honoring your body and taking it with an intention. And I think I'll leave it at that because I do have other videos about that. I would say be mindful of your age too, depending on how old you are watching this. Our brains are developing up to about age 28, depending on, we're all a little bit different, but I only started connecting with these plant medicines or fungal medicines around that time, like 28, 29, in a more significant way, and I feel like those might be the healthier ages to start because your brain has fully formed already, though studies are still being done, so I can't necessarily tell you the best way of doing things, but that's just kind of what I would say. So there are also some therapists and psychologists on YouTube that have really good tools and exercises to go through, and I'm going to link their channels in this video description too, because that's another thing that I find super helpful is if I'm really processing something and going through something and I'm just like, I feel like I need the tools of maybe what a therapist might be able to help me with while I'm going through this. There are those YouTube channels where you can start looking into some of their teachings. There's another channel that I think isn't, I don't know if she's a psychologist or a therapist, but she has a good understanding for this type of stuff. So she might have some training in it, or she might actually be a therapist and she doesn't say, I'm not sure. But yeah, going through maybe some of those tools and the learnings that they may teach can be really helpful in putting into practice some of the exercises that they give us to do. And then finally, I do have other resources on my YouTube channel. I have some free resources for you guys to really help out, whether it's learning more about some of this stuff around mental and emotional well-being, or taking some time to do some guided energy healing meditations, which can be really powerful for letting things come up and come out. And then I'm also available to work one-on-one, and I also have some courses and programs that you can take that will be at such a fraction of what it would cost to go see a licensed therapist for weeks. You can actually work with me for weeks and get some really powerful transformations and healings done too. So I'll have links for you guys in this video description of different tools and resources from myself and from the other people that I've mentioned in this video. And I hope some of these really help you know that we're all worthy and deserving of feeling good, feeling unconditionally loved and supported, whether that's from ourselves, the people around us, Mother Nature, the universe, whatever it may be. We're all worthy and deserving of all of this. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you find this helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Please share it with others that you might find use from it, and leave me a comment to let me know if it has helped you in any way and how, or if there are other practices that you also use that you think would be really helpful to others. So thank you guys so much for being here, and if you are down in the comments, maybe leave some love to other people, because if you're watching this video, it's because you're here to find self-help and self-healing, and we all need maybe a little bit of extra support and just friendliness. So let's all be friendly. So thanks again for being here, and may you be happy, healthy, and free. Bye.